Adults who act like children or parents. When people get triggered, you may have a crossed conversational transaction. Whenever we are conversing with others, we're coming from a standpoint of our inner child, adult self, or in the form of a parent. In a perfect world, we'd be interacting as adult with other adults, or in a kindly parental way with children, or even someone who's feeling vulnerable like a child at the moment. It's also okay to have fun like a child with another adult, going dancing or playing a game together. Each mental state has pros and cons. It's okay to be like a loving parent to someone in need, but the opposite mode is acting like a strict parent, punishing a child. Having fun like a child is useful at times, but acting like a spoiled child and throwing tantrums is not. I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of the two books in the images below, Games People Play by Eric Bernet, MD, and I'm Okay, You're Okay by Thomas Harris, MD. They're much more in-depth. You can read up on it if you wish. And I'm leaving some affiliate links to their books if you want to support the Substack. But I wanted to talk about our conversation in the political sphere these days. Too often you will try to have an adult conversation with someone, and you'll just get a logical fallacy back, strawman or ad hominem, for example. Why don't those people discuss things logically on the facts like adults, you might think? Crossed conversational transactions. In those moments, you're experiencing a crossed conversational transaction with them. You thought you were entering into an adult conversation. However, the subject that you brought up has, quote unquote, triggered an unhealed emotional wound in the other person. That other person then can label you as the persecutor in the drama triangle. They don't want to take personal responsibility for why they got emotionally triggered, so it's easier to project and shift the blame onto you. They may take on the savior role, the parental role, wanting to punish you, the persecutor, in their mind. Or they may take on the victim role, the child role, and throw a temper tantrum. When they take on the parental role, they want you to be the child they're punishing. And when they take on the child role, they want you to be the parent that they're pissed at. Notice they don't want you to be an adult. That's why this is a crossed conversational transaction. You were trying to have an adult-adult conversation, but they don't see you that way. A quote from Games People Play, pictured for context. So I'm going to read part of the picture so that you get the context. So I'll read the whole stuff that's pictured here below the complementary transactions in Figure 2. The converse rule is that communication is broken off when a crossed transaction occurs. The most common cross transaction, and the one which causes and always has caused most of the social difficulties in the world, whether in marriage, love, friendship, or work, is represented in Figure 3a as crossed transaction type 1. This type of transaction is the principal concern of psychotherapists and is typified by the classical transference reaction of psychoanalysis. The stimulus is adult-adult, e.g., maybe we should find out why you've been drinking more lately, or do you know where my cufflinks are? The appropriate adult-adult response in each case would be, maybe we should, I'd certainly like to know, or on the desk. If the respondent flares up, however, the responses will be something like, you're always criticizing me, just like my father did, or you always blame me for everything. These are both child-parent responses, and as the transactional diagram shows, the vectors cross. In such cases, the adult problem about drinking or cufflinks must be suspended until the vectors can be realigned. This may take anywhere from several months in the drinking example to a few seconds in the case of the cufflinks. Either the agent must become parental as a complement to the respondent's suddenly activated child, or the respondent's adult must be reactivated as a complement to the agent's adult. If the maid rebels during a discussion of dishwashing, the adult-adult conversation about dishes is finished. There can only ensue either a child-parent discourse or a discussion of a different adult subject, namely her continued employment. I theorize this is going on everywhere on a large scale. For one thing, the school teachers who want to teach children about gender and CRT, critical race theory, against the students' parents' wishes, the teachers have a job to teach what parents want to be taught, and they're acting like spoiled children when the parents get upset with this. Like the example of the maid rebelling during dishwashing and being fired, the parents should be firing the teachers who won't teach what they want. Some of this enforcing of boundaries reaction is happening in some states. I wrote an article about how we need to enforce our boundaries, and you'll find that linked in the article here. should you take the beating or defend your boundaries? I wrote that after the Kyle Rittenhouse trial was going on. What's going on right now is that a lot of people are acting like spoiled children, and they're situating adults into the position of having to take on the parent role, become an enforcer of boundaries. And some are enforcing their boundaries, while others are acting more like strict parents trying to punish children or acting childish themselves. If you understand this, I bet you will see it in every interaction. It's honestly everywhere, but I wanted to write a quick post about it so you can see when someone is playing games like this. It's okay to walk away when someone is acting like a child or trying to act like a strict parent. The more you recognize this, the less you will get pulled into the drama. Check out the images I've attached, and you can research these books for more information on the topic. Do you have some examples of this in your own life you'd like to share? Feel free to comment below. I'd be interested in hearing from you and seeing if this makes sense to you all. Thanks for listening, thanks for reading, and leave a comment or a like, subscribe if you haven't, and have a great day.